Hi, I'm Roseanna. I'm a crochet designer behind Moara Crochet, and in today's video I've teamed up with a Brazilian yarn company called Fios da Fazenda, and today I'm going to be sharing some of their wonderful yarn with you, showing you some samples and also giving you some ideas of what you can do with this beautiful yarn. Fios da Fazenda is a yarn company which is based here in Brazil. They make the most beautiful yarns, and today I'm going to be sharing with you one of their naturally dyed yarns which is made here in Brazil and made with 100% wool from South America. Today I'm going to be talking with you about one of their naturally dyed yarns made from Pau-brasil. Now, this is the national tree of Brazil, and the wood is also known commonly as Pernambuco or Brazilian wood. Now, I'm a musician, so for me this is commonly known as Pernambuco because this wood is commonly used to make bows for string instruments. I'm also a double bass player, so I'm going to show you my bow, which is made with Brazilian wood. And this wood is really sought after in the world. It's a hard wood. It has a lovely, rich, red, warm tone to the wood and has a beautiful grain. And Fios da Fazenda uses the wood from this, so the wood shavings that are no longer used, and use it to naturally dye their own yarns. And they very kindly sent me a sample, and I'm going to show you now. So this is my bow, and this is their this wood shavings they use to naturally dye their yarn. I have very kindly been sent 2 samples of their yarn, and here they are, and these are in different weights. And as you can see, this gorgeous coppery color is clearly picked up from the wood shavings. And then they've also created another tone in brown, which will clearly have been mixed with another modern to create this chocolatey, almost like cacao brown. And Brazil is known for cacao. And they have created a DK yarn. So in today's video, I'm going to be talking just about this coppery, muted coppery color, and it's made in their sports weight yarn. In the videos that I'm adding now, I'm trying to give you the best natural color of this yarn, and what I can say from real life is this is a very muted, coppery, rich, dark, full tone, and I really love this color. This is a color which I wear a lot. So to show you this yarn, I've actually made 2 different samples for you to see. And both of these samples have been made with the same hook, which is a 3.5 needle, which I'm going to show you now. Look how beautiful that copper color is, and it's catching the natural light. And this is a 3.5 millimeter knitted needle. And I've also made a crochet granny square in the same yarn, and this is so soft and would make the most gorgeous blanket. Fios da Fazenda buys their wool locally from local farmers within Brazil and the Pampa region and create these beautiful yarns. And today we're going to talk about their sports yarn. Now, this was a yarn I've never used before, and it is a very open twist yarn. So it's very fluffy, it's very plump, it blooms, and I imagine once it's fully blocked, as you can see in my knit version, the fabric just blooms and you get this airy, beautiful texture. Now, also, because this is quite an open weave to the yarn weight, this creates a thinner fabric for crochet. Now, as many of you may know, crochet is created with knots. So unlike knit, which is woven, a crochet fabric will always be denser than a knit fabric. But because this yarn is very open, it actually creates a much thinner fabric, which is really soft but extremely, extremely warm. I would love to make a crochet shawl with this yarn, because it wouldn't be really bulky like some yarn can be because of the weave, and the knots actually sit very, very flat. The knots sit very flat, and it creates a very, very thin fabric, but also keeps in all of that warmth. So if you haven't tried this yarn, I would highly recommend it. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to give you some ideas of what you can make with this yarn. To start with, I'm going to split this into two sections. So I'm going to give you some small projects which you can use for knit. So for this second part of the video, I'm going to give you some ideas of what you can make with this yarn for both small projects in knit and large projects, and then the same small projects in crochet, larger crochet projects. And for this, I'm going to put a link down below. So from there, you can go straight to one of my Ravelry bundles, and from there, you can get access to all of these pattern ideas. So let's get started. The first idea I would suggest, which I really want to make with this yarn, is the late bloomer mittens. Now this is designed by Kirsten Ledyard, and it was published in the Making magazine number 10. So I managed to get my hands on this pattern, and I'm hoping later in this year I will be able to make some of these mittens. The second idea I would suggest would be the Alpine Bloom hat. Now this is a gorgeous colorwork hat, which I believe will work really well with this yarn, because this yarn is quite fuzzy and it blooms quite a bit like the name. It will work really well with colorwork, and this design is designed by Boylan's Knitworks. Now moving on to bigger knit projects, the first one I would suggest would be the artist shawl. Now this gorgeous colorwork shawl is made by Moonstruck Knits, and I believe with a full collection of these yarns you will make the most gorgeous shawl, and this is one of the shawls which is on my to knit list, which I'm hoping to make as a gift this Christmas. The next one I would suggest would be the Traveller Shawl by Dre Renee Knits. And this is a really simple shawl which can be easily done while you're watching Netflix, but will really show off the yarn. The third project would obviously be the Alpine Bloom. I've already said the Alpine Bloom hat, but the Alpine Bloom sweater. Now this is a gorgeous colorwork sweater, again by Boylan Knits, and it would look beautiful in some naturally dyed Brazilian yarn. The next one will be the Paulina sweater, and this is designed by Tetty's Knit Garden, and I love this design, and I can't wait to be able to get this on my knitting needles by the end of this year. And the final big project I would suggest with sports weight yarn would be the flower pressed cardigan. Now this is designed by Amy Christophers, and it's beautiful, and they just have these little pops of color which you could really show off maybe some scrap yarn with this main colored yarn. Okay, knitting projects aside, let's go into crochet, which is my forte. I love crochet, it's part of my business, it's part of my life. So the first pattern I would suggest with this yarn is going to be a free pattern which I've actually designed myself, which is my fingerless crochet mittens. This can be crocheted up with just one skein of yarn, and I'm going to leave a link down below also for you to get access to this free pattern. And for another quick crochet pattern would be the Cosmopolitan ear warmers. Now this is designed by Anna Maria, and it creates the most beautiful headband for the cooler months, and it will be able to be made with just one skein of yarn. On to the larger crochet projects, and this is going to include two of my favorite designers, and the first one is the Sifu Knit. This is designed by Linda Scuja, and it is the most beautiful flowing t-shirt with the most beautiful yoke across, and it would look absolutely gorgeous. The next one is also by Linda, and this is the Ping's Milk Sweater. And this is a new design which she's just made, which is a really beautiful swaying out sweater with these beautiful little details coming down at the bottom. And the final pattern I'm going to suggest is the Mosaic Jumper by Nomad Stitches. This is a more advanced crochet pattern and will push you onto the next level, but you will create the most beautiful jumper that I am sure you will love for years and years. I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have any ideas on what you could do with this yarn, pop them down in the comments below. There'll also be a link directly to the Fios da Fazenda shop and also to their Ravelry account for you to see other designs that other people have made with this beautiful naturally dyed yarn.